Hi everyone, I'm Tyler Williams. I'm a sixth-year PhD student in communication studies. I study media. My dissertation is on the history of television animation. Although today I'm going to be talking to you about gender and performance. These are the themes of the lecture. One of the main themes is that identity is performative. Our individual actions are specific to the groups that we belong to. Group social practices, by being repeated, create what we're calling social structure. But apart from their hierarchy, groups also have a culture that can't be explained by just its structure. In everyday life, agency and structure exist in a balanced tension. The question I'll start with is, who decides how we act? This is the debate between structure and agency. We tend to think that I decide how I act, that I have the agency and the control over my actions. But we are socialized into our culture. Society broadly, society is composed of smaller groups, like right now. You are the students in this class. That's the group that you belong to. But you're also students at the University of Iowa. You're also people from your hometown. You're also members of your family. Erving Goffman, I think, is kind of the intellectual father of Professor Steve Duck. So his revolutionary idea was that we perform ourselves in each context of our everyday life. Each individual agent then performs certain roles in each group that they belong to. Society broadly rises from our performing those everyday social practices or rituals in the groups that we belong to. So each group has structure. Structure is about social dynamics. It's not like the physical structure we're in right now. So the social dynamics of a group are about how people in the group get along with each other or don't get along. Structure is also about the hierarchical roles in a group. Like right now, I'm the professor and you're the student, so you're performing a student role by quietly listening to me talk as I profess. Families are the specific group that we'll be talking about today, as well as gender. So families also have structure in that as a child you learn about social practices from your parents. So groups become systems over time as the actions of the groups are repeated. All human communication is meaningful and therefore symbolic. So the concept of a sign that we learned about. A sign is just something that stands for something else. So our everyday talk means things to us and to the people around us. And our everyday actions mean things to us and to the people around us. So over time, our group roles and practices become persistent symbolic systems. Our social practices are things like we live in houses. Our social systems are things like we live in a city that's composed of those houses. So as we learned a few weeks ago, groups are cultures. I'll explain how. So the social practices that people perform identify them as belonging to a specific group culture. Let's look at a few examples. These are family social situations. What would you say this mother and her daughter are doing? Daughter is looking at her mother, yeah. Going to where? An orchard? Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm thinking even more basic than that. They might be like in a store, and the mom is like, hey, I'm gonna buy you a new outfit, so let's go try it on. So, get back to that in a second. Here's another family situation. So what is this father and his son doing? Hunting, yes. Very good. These are gendered family practices. Like the mother, at just a very basic level, is teaching her daughter how to model clothes, how to look stylish. And the father is teaching his son how to hunt game. It's pretty simple, right? So patterns of ritualized actions foster group relationships and become regular routines or rituals. Certain kinds of actions then become naturalized and accepted as the rules of the group. So like, some people get along with specific other people. Some people might not get along with that person. All right, so let's talk about something that you're probably more interested in. What celebrity family does this sign refer to? Does anybody recognize this? I heard one. Others? Duck Dynasty, yes. So this is the Robertson family of Duck Dynasty. The show ended last year, for better or worse. All right, what is the Robertson family like? Like, what is their home life like? I'd like to ask you to think about that as we look at some photos and videos of them. So this is the first photo. This is like the Robertsons as celebrity royalty. It's like a glamour shot, right? This is like the Robertsons as a real family. Those are all the people in the family. It's just like any other family. The Robertsons' original product was these branded duck calls. Sound like different kinds of ducks. So you lure the ducks out of the water so you can shoot them in the air. But they went on to make like all kinds of different products. Got some Duck Commander glasses, tires, of course, necklace, action figures. Yeah, I didn't know that. And wait for it, a costume of Uncle Si. So you can look like Uncle Si. You totally want that, right? Let's talk about another famous celebrity family. What family does this sign refer to? I know some of you know this. What about this one? Anybody recognize these? Yeah?
Kardashians.
Yes. This is the Kardashian family of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is a famously feminine family. These are all the women in the family. Let's think now about like what are the Kardashians like as a family? Here's a first photo. This is them as celebrity royalty. This is another glamour shot. They're like how they want people to see them. Or maybe one of them doesn't really want to be there. This is the Kardashians as a real family. They're just like us. It's maybe a little bit hard to see. It's in like the Los Angeles hills, I think, after Thanksgiving. Okay, so the Kardashians became famous in part by selling their branded clothes and accessories like these. At least I think so. I maybe could have done more research on them. So what do they sell now? Well, they sell all kinds of things. Glasses again, stylish sunglasses. These are custom necklaces. I think these are Kim's products. Kim prayer candle. I didn't expect that one. Okay, these are some emojis. I think maybe from GQ, not from the family. And of course, This is a form-fitting bodice, so you can look like a goddess. I'd like you to watch for family structures in these videos. This is a promo from the first season of the show. So this is a long time ago.
Meet Kim. Being thrust into the spotlight, crazy. Life with his family, crazy doesn't come close. Her mom is her manager. Then there are her sisters.
So many people have done Playboy. It's not like I'm like a whore.
Chloe, Courtney,
What a bossy bitch.
Kendall, and Kylie.
Bye, Jiggles.
And her stepdad.
Why is she dressed like that?
It takes an Olympic champ to keep up with this crew. From Ryan Seacrest Productions and the producers of The Simple Life, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Premieres Sunday, October 14th at 10:30 on E!
Meet the Kardashians. Okay, you all know them. Let's look back at the Robertson family. We saw some videos about the Kardashians. Let's see 3 short videos about the Robertson family. Again, I want you to observe the culture of the family. What is their family life like? This is a promo from first season of Duck Dynasty.
Meet the Robertson clan. They turned duck calls into a multi-million-dollar empire. But running a family business is tough when the family just wants to run wild.
As we're starting to conclude and think about what does all this mean? We met these guys. A lot of people relate to these guys. What exactly is their secret for masculinity? They're like the most manly men in the celebrity world, right? So these ladies are some of the most feminine celebrities out there. What is their secret to femininity? I guess these are more rhetorical questions. What does it mean that we always watch what the Kardashians are doing? Celebrities influence our popular culture, and so they influence us. Celebrities influence how we perform our own gendered identities. So American men, pay attention to what the Robertson men do, how they perform their masculinity. American women, I say American, but this could mean anybody in the world really, since American popular culture spans the globe. American women pay attention to how the Kardashian women perform their femininity. So if you remember where we started, I started by saying that for millennia, people have argued or debated do I decide how I act, or do the cultures that I'm a part of decide how I act? So is everyday life dynamic or static, in other words? Do we really act freely in society or not, is the question. We each perform our identities, so we do have control. We do make our own decisions. But we also habitually act according to the social norms or rituals of the groups that we belong to. We're habitually social creatures. We could not exist without each other. So we, in our own actions, reproduce society through our everyday actions and interactions. Individual identity is individually performative, as this important feminist philosopher has said, Judith Butler. She says, "We act and walk and speak and talk in ways that consolidate an impression of being a man or being a woman. It's through our actions that we become a man or a woman." This is a year in which there's a lot of debate about gender politics. And this movement, the Me Too movement, has sprung up, and there's a lot of women making a lot of noise about like what's wrong in the world with how they're treated. Women, feminists would say like we are not equal to men in a lot of important ways. Like we don't make the same amount of money, we're not taken seriously. This is from the Me Too movement's website. They specifically say that they want to bring attention to systemic sexism. So like, it's about women being able to say that they're victims of sexual assault. Let's return to this early example of the mother and her daughter. What are the real motivations that the mother is taking her daughter to the store to buy her a new outfit? And what is the father's real motivation taking his son out to hunt? They are just trying on clothes and hunting game. But since identity is performative, our family rituals become our genders. So the mother is teaching her daughter how to become a woman. And the father is teaching his son how to be a man. One of the big questions I'm asking you to ask yourself is real change possible? You know, people say boys will be boys. That's become very controversial this year with women speaking out about statements like this, but like, some people say like girls will just be girls. Like, I mean, yes, but there's a lot of people trying to change how we see women, for example, or how men behave. So both are actually true. Change is possible, but we also can't deny our genders and our culture. Creating change to social structures often requires struggle, like protest. People have to draw attention to the inequalities of our system in order to change it. We do each perform our own identities, and because of that, we do have agency to change social life through our own actions. We're a part of the groups, but like we can still exercise control over them. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks very much for coming, and thanks for listening to me.